Welcome to Be Bold Branding, where we discuss the power of differentiating yourself through your own unique story and standout personal brand. Today's guests are real estate partners who created a unique concept called Real Estate Store, and also they're clients of BrandFace. They're from Mobile, Alabama, and they're about to share their personal branding journey and how their new brand helps them stand out and secure business. I'm Tanya Eberhardt, founder of BrandFace, where we help real estate professionals differentiate themselves, and we do that through personal branding.
And I'm Michael Carr. I'm the COO of BrandFace. I was actually a client of BrandFace and used the principles myself in my own business. It exploded. It continues to grow every day. And I bought into the company to try to help other people just like yourself learn the principles of BrandFace. We're the only comprehensive personal brand building system across the globe. And we do Be Bold podcast to help other people just like yourself and just like these great guests that we have today, put themselves out there and get over the fear of that.
Yep. And so now we would like to introduce Lydia Blackwell and TJ Roberts to the podcast.
Hey, guys.
Hi there.
Hi, guys.
Welcome.
Hey, first of all, we have to address this. One of our guests just had a brand new baby girl 1 week ago. Her name's Bailey Rose. So we have to say this will be Bailey's debut podcast appearance, right? Now, she may not be appearing in person, but we are announcing her for the very first time on any podcast. So mark this date, TJ. Welcome to the world, Bailey.
Well, that works. I'm sure she thanks you. I'll tell her.
All right. You got it. So let's start simply by you guys just taking turns. Lydia, if you want to go first, tell us how and why you got into real estate.
Oh gosh, that was 30 years ago. I have to think about that. Actually, I wanted the flexibility to be able to pick up my children from school, take them home, make sure they do homework, cook dinner, and then if I needed to go back out again after that, I could. So the flexibility was really important to me. I used to say I don't like salespeople. This was 30 years ago. And when I realized that real estate really is more service than sales, then I was very comfortable going forward with it. And I am so glad I did. I love what I do still to this day.
Excellent. What about you, TJ?
Well, I've been in sales all of my adult life, but I was in retail sales right before real estate. And most of my clients at that point were contractors, agents, property managers. So that company was closing and they just kept coming in, encouraging me into the industry and telling me it'd be a good move to make. So I took a leap of faith and I've been here ever since. I love it.
That's good.
I love it too. And Lydia, if you wouldn't mind just adding just a bit to that, tell us how you guys became partners.
So was it 5 years ago, TJ?
Almost 5 now.
Okay. So he came to, I was at a RE/MAX office and I was in charge of recruiting and for that particular franchise and wanted to talk to us about coming to work for us. And the only way that would work in our environment was to bring him on as a team with somebody. And we hit it off immediately. There was something about him that I just felt like was special. He had absolutely no experience, but something clicked. And so I asked him if he would like to be on my team. And I wanted somebody, obviously I'm much older than TJ. Obviously that baby is not mine, it's TJ's. So I wanted somebody that was techie to be on my team and bring a different younger clientele. So I asked him and he said yes, and I don't regret that at all. Then we decided to form our own business together as partners.
I love it. And I got to say, as a broker, as an indie broker myself, I applaud you guys for being indie brokers. I think it's incredible. I think it's awesome. I know y'all are building a team also. My hat's off to you because I think that's awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
They just released, NAR just released a report and said like 94% of everybody, customers, real estate clients that were interviewed said that it did not matter to them what the name of the brokerage was. They chose the person. And I think that's so important to what we do in our industry.
That's exactly what made us, TJ and I decided to go out on our own. We were a team. And then I asked him one day, I said, where does all your business come from? Because I know where mine comes from, complete past referrals, friends, whatever. And so I asked TJ, and it was it TJ?
It was pretty much internet, whether it be social media or a lot of the sites that they have that we all advertise through. That's where the majority of my business came from. So it kind of led us to doing our own thing and joining that internet brigade and being on that virtual side versus staying with the larger, more traditional brokerages.
Mm-hmm. That's wonderful.
So
That's
the big box, I feel like, well, I mean, actually, I just got a thing from Inman News last month about how independent brokers are really taking over the business. Mom and pop boutique offices are really taking over the business more so than they ever have. So I do think that we were smart at the time that we made that decision.
Yeah, I would agree 100%. And for anybody that's listening, we're not beating up on big brokerages. I tell people all the time when they ask me, what should I join? I'm like, well, you need to see the perks of each kind and then decide what's best for you. There are perks to being involved with bigger franchises. But I really just find that the indie brokers, just like yourself, just like me, we can have a more personal, not only personality with our clients, but also with the agents that come underneath us. And I think that's just so important, that one-on-one training and stuff that we can give them. So, yeah. Well, let me ask you this. Why did you guys decide to come into the BrandFace program?
Well, the concept for Real Estate Store is a pretty broad concept. And we were just having a bit of a time expressing that to people. Once we sat down and explained to them exactly what we do at Real Estate Store, they would be, oh, great, but we needed some help figuring out exactly how to convey that.
Yep.
Awesome.
Lydia, anything to add to that?
Well, if I'm having a hard time explaining it and I'm the owner and TJ's the owner, you can imagine what the agents or the buying, selling clients are struggling with. So we just had to come up with a concise explanation, and we felt like BrandFace could give that to us. And so I kept getting these annoying emails from Tanya.
I remember you told me that early on.
And I usually like several times a day I go through my emails and I delete all the junk. And I didn't delete hers. I kept not deleting them, or I would delete them and another one would come in and I'd leave it there for a while. So after a while, I felt like God's saying, you need to do something with this. So that's how we got started.
Oh, thank you. I mean, I've been there. I know what that feels like. In fact, there are people sitting in my inbox right now whose emails I have not deleted. So I understand exactly where you are. And it's just that moment in time where we call it that God moment. It's like, today's the day. This is it. Right? Mm-hmm. So was there anything that you guys were afraid of coming into the program?
Well, I have a marketing background, so anything involving marketing, I'm a little skeptical. I'll say that up front. And also, if you guys haven't noticed, I'm a little shy in front of the camera. So that took a bit of convincing, but it's been worth it all in all. It's really been a process that was a lot less scary during the process than it was beforehand.
Well, TJ and I do weekly videos for Facebook and Instagram, and you can tell how much more at ease he is even with the videos that we've been doing for over a year, I guess.
Now.
Yeah, a couple of years. He's more comfortable now after going through this process, through his photo shoot, than he was before. So that's really actually helped.
That's good to know too. Because it is repetition. It is doing it and realizing it's not as as scary as we built it up in our minds. And in helping that, let's talk about this for a minute, because I think it'll segue into it. Like, let's talk about your brand and what BrandFace did for you there. Tell everybody what your brand identifier is and how it fits you so well.
Making moves. I'm sorry. So I thought you wanted me to recite the long elevator pitch, and I'm like,
Oh no, we're good. We're good.
No, I don't.
From memory, let's go. Test.
That's why TJ sent it to me.
I love it. Now, the
That's good.
making moves, tell a little bit about how that making moves suits you guys and what you're doing in Real Estate Store.
Well, with our concept, we're making moves with buyers and sellers because of course, they're making moves one way or the other, as well as on the brokerage side. We are, like we said earlier, a boutique brokerage, and we are trying to do a lot more things virtually. So we're on the forefront of that as well. So we're making moves on that end.
And then another department in our real estate store is that we work with a lot of flippers, investors, and so we can, and I especially, do project management for them. So I will I'll sell them the property. I will hire the contractor, design, decorate, and manage the contractor and the different contractors. We have, more than one, landscapers and whatever paint. So I would take that all the way to the end and then sell it for them. So it's not just we're helping mom and dad buy or sell a house. We're helping investors. And then the other department is we have an Airbnb management section, so that we can take that investment property, if they need us to design and decorate, buy all the furniture, buy the linens, the towels, everything, and set it up and then manage their Airbnb. So we have so many facets of our company. Mm-hmm. And that's why it was hard to explain to people why we were different. But making moves, we're not just moving that mom and dad, we're moving a whole industry. So that worked for us. We're really pleased with it.
I love it too. Making moves is awesome. It says what it does, and then to be able to articulate it like you guys have to your clients and customers, I think makes life a whole lot easier. It explains to them why they want to come to you and be the one-stop shop, and it's really good and a great concept. I want to say too.
And I love the double entendre of it, because you're making moves within your own company, right? You're helping people move in different directions, helping people move from one place to another, move toward a bigger portfolio in their investment world, or handling their, property management. And then you're also making moves yourself. So it's kind of making moves for the client, and then you guys making moves, and it kind of just works as this beautiful double entendre. So love what came out of all of this for you guys, and it allowed you to blend that story in beautifully from both of your backgrounds, which I love. Mm-hmm. So going through the process, we'll start with you, TJ. What was the easiest part about the branding process, and what was the hardest part for you?
The easiest part was kind of just picking up on some of the things you guys gave as far as branding and consistency. So the easiest part was kind of to grasp that idea and to apply it across all platforms and make it consistent. Now, the hardest part was, in the beginning, you have to talk about yourself a good bit, and you have to have some conversations with yourself about how you got in the business, why you're in the business, what are your plans in the business. And sometimes we get so busy and wrapped up in the day-to-day, we don't sit down and think about those type of things. So the hardest part was just really sitting down and having to have some conversations with yourself and with myself in order to get things done.
Yes, we can relate. Absolutely. What about you, Lydia?
The easiest thing was a photo shoot, because I love, as you can tell, I love a camera. So that was fun, and I enjoyed every minute of it. TJ actually hates the camera, so he didn't like it as much as I did. But Yeah, definitely the hardest part. Well, actually, there's kind of two for me. The filling out, answering all the questions and the introspection that you have to go through. And some of it was kind of difficult going back into your past and your childhood and stuff. So that was challenging. But also for me to remember to constantly use the right fonts and the right colors and in the marketing that we do on social media or anywhere. And having to learn Canva, which is not part of BrandFace, but that's what's used. And so that was kind of difficult.
Yeah, anytime you're learning something new like that, it's difficult, but it won't be long and you may already be there, Lydia, with certain things. It's just like, okay, I can do that in, 30 seconds now. Boom, boom. It's really a lot easier now. And you're always going to be learning and evolving, when it comes to that. But what's really cool about Canva, and this isn't, we don't get paid for this Canva plug, but Canva is pretty awesome because you can go in and set up your own brand kit. So all the things that we create as you guys are going through this program to build your brand, all of those branding elements, you can then upload to Canva and all of your stuff is there to just go and create with, plus thousands of templates that really just from a design eye are laid out and balanced very well. It's a plug and play. You remove this person and you put yourself in, right? And so it's really a cool process. And I have to say one more thing about your photo shoot, guys. When our team goes through your photo shoot, you had probably 100 photos each, and we go through it and we narrow that down to the top 10 or 12. If it's 2 people, it's 12 or 14 total photos to look at as we're building the brand together. And the first thing we said, who are these people? Like, this is amazing. And I was especially proud of you, TJ. I was surprised at both of you because I thought, wow, like these people look like they came from a modeling agency in that photo shoot. It was 100%. Insane. And especially since you had already told us that you were shy, TJ, it was like, no, you're not. We didn't believe it after that, but it was so fantastic, guys. I'm so proud of you for that because, Lydia, it's easy for you because you love that. And I can, and part of me has grown to love it too. So I can relate to that. But part of me, like from the very beginning, it was so painful to do the first video that I ever did. I'll bet you it took 3 hours because I was just so terrified. And I was thinking the whole time, everybody I know is going to see this one video, right? Well, I didn't know that nobody's going to scrutinize it that closely. And sometimes if they do, right? And so it was a process, but I'm very proud of you both for that. I thought it was great.
I want to parrot that also because the photo shoot was insane good. And everybody goes through that. When Tanya taught me the principles, I was the same way. I wasn't comfortable in front of the camera. We even did a bloopers video about it years ago because we had to shoot things over and over again. And just for the general public, we still have to shoot things over and over again sometimes like you. So it's just a part of it. But once you become comfortable with the way that it works, I got to ask you a question though. Did you find that, did Armand help you get out of that a little bit? Did he push and shove you a little bit about getting comfortable in front of the camera? Did he coach you at all a little bit with that? Because he's a guy that ain't shy at all about being in front of people. No, he's awesome.
I felt like Armand had been in my closet.
Yeah.
Wait, I sent you 2 pictures and you just saw me and you can tell me all of this, but Armand was great.
Oh, I know. He's so great. He's so awesome. And he wears some killer stuff. I tell you, Armand, you pull off stuff I couldn't do, man. It's great. Yeah. So good.
I loved him for your brand because your brand's bright, bold colors, and that is Armand.
That's for him.
He's so bright and bold, and he'll wear anything, and it's just that's who he is as part of his brand. He's so creative. So I loved that you guys were matched up really, really well with him.
Yeah, that's real good. Now, let me ask you this though. Okay, so we're talking about these steps and going through it. How do you feel your brand makes you bolder? And do you feel like it makes you bolder?
Well, now it gives us the conversation starters. It gives us the opportunity to explain rather than coming out with a lot of jumbled words and all of these ideas because we encompass so much at one place. it starts the conversation and allows us to see where it takes us for every client or every agent. And it really just helps to explain things a lot better.
Lydia,
We have gotten so many positive responses about our new Facebook post that you guys put together for us. Well, first of all, just the fact that anybody would even take the time to mention it was incredible, but then to be so positive about it, people saying very impressive, to the point, very succinct. And I'm getting a lot of agents that, from other companies that are noticing it, which of course, we want to recruit agents. So
Sure.
I think that's going to help us a lot. We look more professional, more put together. So yeah, I think that is really, and because we're a fairly new company, we've only been around for a year and a half. I know that people are watching and waiting to see what we do. And so I think this really put us light years in front of how long it was going to take us to get there.
That's good to hear. I agree 100% with that, just from my experience, because we, like we said when we started off, being indie brokers, it's up to us to carve that niche in our areas. And I like that, TJ, like it's a great conversation starter, and that's awesome. And so many times in sales, we struggle with that like, how do we get that conversation started? And brand identifiers are definitely that best way to get somebody to ask, what does that mean? What is that? And then you've got the stage, and you can say, well, let me explain. Normally we don't get that opportunity if it's a cold call. So
that's so true. And I love the fact that, when we were first talking about this, you got to look ahead at your short-term and long-term goals, right? And you guys are doing a lot inside your real estate store. That's kind of like walking into a real estate store, and saying, I'll take that, and that, and I need those 4 things, right? And that's great. And I love the concept behind that. And then making moves just adds that more like a power layer to it, because now it's about making moves. It's about helping people make the best move of their life. And other agents are seeing that you are making moves, right? As a company. And so it's just all this beautiful ecosystem that comes together to support real estate store. So I love it. And I'm glad that you're seeing to come to fruition exactly what the brand was designed to do.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So there are other professionals out there and business owners of all kinds of genres that might be afraid to put themselves out there. They might be sitting where TJ was sitting at one time, right? What would you say to them about becoming a brand face?
It's definitely something you would want to do. In the beginning, marketing is a hard concept or a hard thing to conceptualize. Mm-hmm. So until you actually begin and start at it, you won't quite understand. It's a leap of faith. But if you want to grow your business and you want to solidify your brand, it's a leap of faith that you really almost have to take.
About as good answers I've ever heard.
Absolutely.
Yep. What would you say, Lydia?
I just love, he's so good with words. It definitely was a leap of faith, and really didn't know what I was doing and why we were doing it, but I knew it was something we had to do. And you explained it so well when we had our first 15-minute call, TJ, remember that? Mm-hmm. And she was saying why you do it and how you do it, and her background and our background, and it was so much more comfortable. Again, I wasn't really sure why and how, but I knew it was something that we had to do so that we could build our company faster. And you guys have been unbelievably professional and helpful, really more than I ever expected. So we are very pleased.
Well, I hated to be so impressed in that first phone call, and I really tried my best not to be impressed, and I definitely was, and you guys have gone above and beyond what I expected. So
that's like the best testimonial ever. I wanted to dislike you guys.
I tried.
I gave it a shot. I really did.
I love your honesty, TJ. I swear I do.
Yeah.
And I remember Lydia saying, I'm not sure if TJ's on board, but I think we're going to try this. And it's like, it's okay. He'll come around. We'll get him there because this is so important to you both. And it is a scary thing when you're walking into it.
No, of course it is.
And even when you do the first initial branding session and we give you guys ideas for your brand identifier, even then you're still like, okay, what are we doing now? Right.
Mhm.
And that's normal. I want you and everybody out there listening to know that is 100% normal. And still at that phase, it's like, did we make the right decision? I mean, what are we doing here?
That's so
right.
true.
But then once you get to that brand messaging, and you start to pull the story together, that's where everything kind of comes full circle and you start to see the sky open up a little bit. It's like, maybe this is not so scary after all. This is my story. And now you get excited about it because this may be the first time in your lives that you actually worked on your own story.
Mhm.
And I think that's what's so powerful about it is it's what you pull out of yourself through the journey,
Yes.
self-realization, a lot of that. Talking in ethereal terms here, but there is a formula, there are principles, there are certain steps you take, but each person is so uniquely different that those steps are going to have a different outcome for everyone.
Mhm.
And I think that's what we love about it so much, that we got to know the two of you and we love you guys. And we think
Absolutely.
you're phenomenal. I thought you were from the first day that we met. And I just want to thank you for having such an awesome outlook throughout this and having taking that leap of faith, because
Mhm.
we couldn't do it without people just like you. And we think you're wonderful. So thank you very much for coming on board, guys.
Mhm.
Thank you. We're glad we did.
Good. And
So
this is
am
just
I.
the beginning. We tell people you never leave the BrandFace family, and we're always here and we're always rooting for more and more of your success and wanting the goals that you have set forth to come to fruition. And we're here to help any way possible with that from now on, because that's what it's about. So,
Sure
and you
is.
guys are perfect
Good
examples.
to know. Actually, we were just talking today.
Yeah,
We're
we're
gonna
going to
design
hold you to that.
Pardon?
I was telling them we're going to hold you to that. So we'll
Yeah.
give you guys a call a little bit later.
All right.
Okay, that sounds great. That
That'll
sounds
work.
great. Because when you come into this family, we not only help you with your brand, if you bring us something you're thinking about marketing on, like maybe you're thinking about putting up a billboard or doing a brochure or a postcard or whatever that is, you bring it into the program and we say, okay, that looks good, but let's make these few changes and really jazz it up, right? And so
Mhm.
those are the things you're probably talking about, I assume.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's what I
ma'am.
thought.
That's
Okay,
it.
good. Use
Good.
us.
Good.
Use us for
Alrighty.
that.
All right, folks, listen, if you have any questions about your brand or want to learn more about us, head to discussyourbrand.com. You can book a free 30-minute session with our staff and talk about branding. And even if you just want to say, hey, what is branding? Or, hey, I think I've got a brand and I don't know where I'm at with finishing it. We love to talk about it. So discussyourbrand.com.
And if you like what you heard today from these fine folks, we encourage you to like it, love it, share it, and ding, subscribe so you can be the first one to know when the next podcast premieres. Thank you both so very much.
Yep.
Thank you.
And to everybody out there, listen, we do this for prosperity, right? Prosperity is a good thing. But when we talk about prosperity, we're not talking about just money. We're talking about the full 360 of an abundant life that we truly wish for every one of you. We know here at BrandFace that prosperity favors the bold. So we say be bold, folks, especially with your brand. And thank you, Miss Lydia. Thank you, Mr. TJ. And thank you, Miss Tanya.
Thank you, guys. All right, we'll see you next time on Be Bold Branding. Thrive Real Estate Education is a proud sponsor of Be Bold Branding. Thrive is the only online free continuing education school in the country. To find out if they're participating in your home state, go to alwaysfreece.com. All courses are approved and certified by the Real Estate Commission.